Bryan Martin had a wild night on stage in upstate New York, an evening that began like any other performance but ended in chaos, confusion, and an emotional confession that has left fans both heartbroken and hopeful. The incident unfolded at the Shag to Coke Fair, a lively event just 30 minutes outside Albany, where country fans had gathered to celebrate the music they love, the stories they connect with, and the artists who pour their souls into every lyric. Yet on that Friday night, the music stopped abruptly when deputies had to intervene, pulling Martin from the stage after what authorities later described as a drunken meltdown. The moment quickly became a turning point, not just in the concert but in the narrative of Bryan Martin's career, forcing both him and his audience to confront the darker realities that so often remain hidden behind the bright lights of fame. Witnesses said the show had started with the same energy and raw emotion that Martin has become known for. His voice, gravelly, heartfelt, and heavy with the authenticity of someone who has lived the struggles he sings about, captivated the crowd. But as the set went on, subtle signs of unease began to creep in. Deputies at the fairgrounds later recalled that he was showing signs of intoxication and erratic behavior. At first, some fans may have dismissed it as stage banter or the looseness of an artist just letting himself go in the moment. But it soon became clear that something deeper and more troubling was at play. When officers attempted to guide him gently off stage, Martin resisted, clinging to the microphone, and the moment as if surrendering it would mean surrendering far more than just a performance. The tension escalated until deputies were left with no choice but to forcibly remove him. Spectators were left stunned, caught between concern and disappointment, unsure how to process what they had just witnessed. For many, it was a shocking departure from the Bryan Martin they admired, the man whose music speaks of resilience, struggle, and finding hope in the hardest of places. Just hours later, Martin broke his silence. From the solitude of his hotel room, he opened his Instagram account and typed out an apology that was as raw as it was revealing. "Sorry I let y'all down tonight," he wrote. "Truth is, I'm not okay." With those few words, he stripped away the facade that fame often demands, exposing the weight of anxiety, depression, and alcohol that had been pressing on him behind the curtain of his public life. He admitted that the road life, the constant travel, the sleepless nights, the pressure to perform, and the ache of missing his kids had taken a toll on his spirit. "I'm not ever proud when I reach for another drink," he confessed, echoing the struggle of countless others who battle with addiction. Yet in that same breath, he reassured his fans that he was still clinging to the threads of hope. He spoke of leaning on his faith, of working on his health, and of continuing to create new music even through the storm. "Hope y'all can forgive me and believe in a broken old soul like me," he wrote, offering a glimpse of a man both fractured and determined to heal. The response was immediate and intense. Fans flooded his comments with messages of love, encouragement, and understanding. Some shared their own battles with depression and substance abuse, letting him know he was not alone. Others simply reminded him that the music he has given the world has already saved lives, and that his worth cannot be defined by one night, one mistake, or even one ongoing struggle. In that sense, Martin's breakdown became more than just a headline. It became a mirror reflecting the hidden pain that so many carry silently, and the power of honesty to break through the isolation. Sheriff Kyle Bourgault, who oversaw the deputies involved, offered a perspective that blended firmness with empathy. He praised the officers for handling the tense situation with professionalism, ensuring Martin's safety and the safety of those around him. But he also spoke to a larger truth, that addiction is not merely a matter of law and order, but of humanity. Addiction requires both accountability and compassion, Bourgault said, reminding the public that while consequences must exist, so too must understanding and support. His words carried weight, especially in a society where celebrity missteps often become fodder for ridicule rather than opportunities for reflection. For Bryan Martin, this night might ultimately stand as a pivotal chapter in his story. A story that, like his music, is filled with both brokenness and redemption. His fans know him as more than a performer. They know him as a storyteller whose songs echo the struggles of everyday life. From his humble beginnings to the stages of fairs and festivals across the country, he has built his career on authenticity. And perhaps that authenticity shines brightest, not in moments of perfection, but in moments of vulnerability, The pressures of life on the road are not easy to comprehend for those who have never lived it. Nights spent away from family stretch into weeks and months. The constant demand to be on, to smile for photos, to deliver flawless performances, to maintain the illusion of unshakable confidence can erode even the strongest of spirits. Layered on top of that are the temptations and vices that accompany fame. Alcohol offered freely, the lure of escape from exhaustion and loneliness, the false comfort of substances that promise relief but deliver chains. For Martin, as for So, many others in his position, the line between coping and collapsing can be razor thin. And yet, there is also hope woven into this story. Martin's decision to speak openly about his struggles is itself an act of courage. In a world that often demands silence around mental health and addiction, his honesty creates space for conversation. It reminds fans, friends, and even strangers that being not okay is not a weakness, but a reality that must be faced with support and compassion. His words resonate beyond the boundaries of country music, touching anyone who has ever felt the weight of despair, the pull of the bottle, or the ache of longing for something more stable, more grounding, more real. This moment, painful as it may be, also carries the seeds of transformation. Artists throughout history have faced similar breaking points, nights when the spotlight revealed not just talent, but turmoil, when the applause could not drown out the inner demons. Some have been lost to their struggles, their legacies tinged with tragedy. Others have used those lowest points as the foundation for renewal, finding strength in vulnerability and purpose in pain. Bryan Martin now stands at that crossroads. With the chance to turn his breakdown into a breakthrough, his promise of new music is not just a note of reassurance to his fans, it is a lifeline for himself. For many artists, creation is therapy, a way to make sense of the chaos within and without. The songs that may emerge from this chapter of his life will likely carry a depth and rawness that only lived experience can provide. In that sense, the very night that threatened to derail him may ultimately enrich his artistry, adding layers of honesty and resilience that will resonate even more deeply with listeners. For now, the path forward is uncertain, but not hopeless. Martin has acknowledged his struggle, leaned into his faith, and expressed his commitment to health. The support from fans, the compassion from authorities, and the strength of his own words all suggest that recovery is possible. It will not be easy. Addiction rarely loosens its grip without a fight, but as he himself has reminded his audience, brokenness does not erase worth, and imperfection does not cancel out potential. In the end, Bryan Martin's wild night on stage at the Shag de Coke Fair may be remembered less for the chaos and more for the honesty it revealed. It may become a testament to the reality that even those who seem larger than life are in fact human, fragile, flawed, and in need of grace. And perhaps that is the truest song he could ever sing, one not confined to melody, but lived out in the rhythm of struggle and survival. His story, unfinished as it is, continues, and with it the hope that both he and those who walk similar paths will find healing, redemption, and the courage to keep going, one day, one note, and one step at a time.